Okay, so my son, something's going on there. Something's desperately wrong. I've gone back through the history of my grandson and our incredible bond that we've shared since his birth. He's been, well, of course, he was my grandson and the oldest, and that was very special. And so I held him so close to me, along with his sister, when she came, and could not believe that I ended up helping deliver her because there was no medical. Well, one person came, but I had to assist in the delivery of my granddaughter, and consequently, I was the first one to hold her, and um, if there were ever a doubt in anybody's mind about my devotion to these two youngsters, I would ask that you be kind and look at the situation as a whole, because the controllers, the masterminds of this operation, have been doing these things for years. And so they use Nazi techniques, and they torture, they traumatize, and then they, I guess probably the easiest way for us to understand it would be like tease the brain while under trauma. And anyway, they have created an entire storyboard that does not identify the living beings in this. That would be me, Ezekiel, and Victoria. And so they've created a storyboard. They've manipulated my kids' minds to a terrible degree, I guess. It's hard for me to know because they won't allow us to see each other or talk to each other. And in the last 11 months, um, oh, these guys make me so sick. What visits I have had with my family have been under supervision, as they call it, but actually all it is just the controllers. They continue the trauma, and then they continue to. It's horrible. They will take your reaction to the trauma and mark it down and turn it into something that is really negative. Like, we showed the parent, the grandmother, the cuts on her daughter's legs. That's granddaughter, daughter. Anyway, and she reacted, and they put whatever they want. They just make stuff up, even if you do maintain, which I did. I will tell you, I look back and I realized that, okay, I knew they were trying to manipulate me when they did this. And I saw them watching, like they were watching to see, just how I was going to react. Almost like they get off on it. I don't know. How else do you say it? Like the they enjoy this torment and this torture. Well, anyway. So they've had no intentions of returning my kids for a long time, and pretty much from the beginning. Rebecca Weininger started out with somewhat of a moral compass, it seemed, and then she changed. And it was really strange because I saw this switch in her. She was always questionable, but I got a glimpse, at least, into the human behind the mask. And, very disappointing that there is no moral compass and there is no honor in any of these creatures, which now I understand all of that, but in the beginning I did not. In the beginning, I truly did think they were an agency that was out to help and that they were there for the good. Their ways seemed, I guess, strange to me, but I was trying to be open-minded to ideas and suggestions, I guess. We had suffered through a terrible ordeal before we moved here, and I was still pretty shaken up about all of that. So I guess the timing of these evil entities was probably perfect for them, because they got me while I was pretty weak. And I'd been through some deep grieving things, and I'd been working through some heavy-duty stuff. And also with my kids, because we had all gone through some things together. And, that included the move, which moves are stressful. And now it was just the three of us, so our little family had shrunk down, and until I could build the right support system around us, it was going to remain small. My naivety has gotten me into trouble many times in this world, and I guess it did again. For some reason, I had it in my head that we were moving to an area that was very beautiful, where people lived healthier lives, where there were adventures for kids. I mean, look at these beautiful trees, and if you can see that mountain in the background, this is truly one of the most beautiful places, in my opinion. I mean, I certainly felt that it was very good for my kids, and that was why I built it. I built it for us to enjoy our lives and have barbecues together and sit in the sun and play with the dog and collect eggs from the chicken coop, go fish in the pond or whatever. It's a completely different lifestyle than what my kids have grown up in, but it was meant to enrich them, not harm them. It was meant to enrich them. It was meant to give them the health that they would get by interacting directly with nature and beginning the understanding of nature. And this was something that just was like a dream come true, actually, for me, to be able to actually have my youngsters here after spending all those years building the place for them and creating an environment for them and for their health. And that's just the truth. That's what I was doing. I thought that the community here, because it was smaller, would be a better community, and that we would connect with people that were outdoorsy and, just healthier lifestyle. I guess I stepped right into Babylon from Aurora. I'm not even sure how you can do that. How can you come from Aurora to Durango and be stepping right into Babylon? Well, how do you step from Aurora to Durango and feel like you stepped, I don't know, from the frying pan into the fire, I guess. I didn't think that Aurora was really all that bad. I mean, it was a pain in the butt, like all legal and educational systems are. Still, I liked the school, and my kids were okay there. Anytime you put a kid in a public school, I don't know, I think you're asking for trouble anymore, because there's so many diseases of the mind and diseases, period, and whatever. It's a farce. The whole educational system is just a farce. The only good thing that can come from it is I enjoyed all of their plays and recorded all of them, all 6 years, and that was actually delightful. So I did really enjoy that, and actually the teachers and whatnot, there were people there that were more progressive in their thinking, so they were really easy to get along with for the most part, I felt. The policemen in Aurora, pretty worthless. But that's about what you could expect. At least they weren't a heavy threat in Aurora. They were just kind of worthless, as many are. Coming to Durango, I don't know. Some of the officers that I have met, which I haven't had the opportunity to really get to know anyone, but some of the ones that I've met seem to be pretty good people. On the other hand, I wanted to go to them and report this criminal activity. I went ahead and called the sheriff's office here and spoke with the deputy, who, well, went right into, are you diagnosed with a mental illness? And then, of course, are you taking medication? And just started going into the controller's line of questioning, because that's what they do now. If you think of anything outside of the box, then you're considered mentally ill, and that's what they've done with me. Is the judge and these attorneys have determined that I'm mentally ill, and that's how they're moving forward with their agenda. It's so grossly disgusting. I understand the controllers are probably concerned because there's so much exposure on them now. But I'm not doing anything. I'm not doing anything wrong. I'm going to educate myself as to what's going on. I have that right. I am a free living being, supposed to be free. I guess if I'm not free, and I guess if this is really how things have to go on planet Earth, period. If the truth is, with all the truth that I've learned about these criminals that are destroying our planet, destroying the lives of so many, all over the place, if it is true that they have that authority, which, of course, they don't. They're not God. They're playing God, but they're not God. But if I were wrong, and it were true, then I would ask creation to blot us out of existence. I would not want to even come to planet Earth and be a part of any of this or my lineage. And that's the way I feel. And, let's button this thing up. Let's get these guys off the planet. Let's get them out of here. I am so sick of it. I am so sick of the assaults on the human race in general. I am so sick of their drug money. I'm so sick of their blood money. I am so sick of them that I just want to go round them all up and shoot them into outer space in a big ball, all tied up. I don't care. I want them gone. I want them off the planet. Their tyranny and their tortures and their murder and rape and their diseases of the mind, and whether they're human or not, I don't care. If they are human, they are truly diseased, and they spread their diseases through pedophilia. They spread their diseases through drugs. They spread their diseases through programming, education, all of their programs that they're responsible for, I guess, infiltrating. I'm still wondering, well, okay, let's discuss who created who. because I'm not really sure how that really worked. I mean, I know that we were infiltrated. I know they're foreigners. I know that as far as the Constitution is concerned, it's completely unconstitutional. But that doesn't seem to matter anymore. Well, it has been said that when you have nothing to lose, that's the time when you can really make the changes. Since they have murdered my family and kidnapped my grandchildren, I guess I'm down to not having anything else much to lose other than some material things that, whatever. I've lost so many material things. I've lost so much money. I've been ripped off by the banks. I've been ripped off by the kid's mother and uncle, now their grandfather. And I have to look back on my life and actually laugh from the first time I got ripped off to the last, because, it got progressively bigger and bigger and bigger until we were in the $500,000 range, which for me was a lot of money to lose, but what are you going to do? When you're dealing with banksters, they're going to do what they want to do, right? So trying to just go to a meek and peaceful existence, they're not happy with that either. Nope, they want it all. They don't want you to enjoy your life, period. Not at the beginning, not in the middle, and not at the end. As long as they're in control, we're all up shit creek without a paddle. They are the enemy, and they control the globe. And I'm so disgusted when you try to get a little bit of help and you maybe bend the ear of a deputy. And they immediately go into the controller's thing, of the mental illness. So they're well trained. And, well, what can I say? That's a bummer. I don't know what's going to happen, and I don't know how this is going to crumble. But it has to crumble. It has to come down, you guys. If we don't bring this thing down one way or the other, then there is no future for our kids. There's no future for our grandkids, and there's no future for the planet. Why they want to destroy the planet is beyond me. I haven't been able to figure that one out. I guess all my life I've loved Mother Earth and the beautiful things that she is. I can't understand a single creature that would not appreciate something about our beautiful Mother Earth. But, okay, I guess the off-planet, other planets, starts to maybe make sense. They have another place to go dwell. Maybe. Don't know. A lot of speculative information in that arena. But I'm not a conspiracy theorist, so I only work on fact. If I can't see the facts and how they, take chemtrails, for example. Well, I know that the soil's been tested, the water's been tested. I know about the ecosystem and the salamanders disappearing and, all the stuff that's been linked to the chemtrails, because it's poison, man. I mean, what's the big deal? Is that really that hard to figure out? I mean, learn for yourself. Go do your homework. Contrail, chemtrail. You know what? Better yet, the mainstream media put out a beautiful expose on the chemtrails and went into how they are spraying aluminum and barium and I don't think they said anything about lithium, but there's a lot of information about that. And then also nanos. Now that was an interesting thing, I thought. And of course, they're linking it to Mangola's disease and respiratory failure too, which would make sense. You know, those nanoparticles are, there's no way for your body to filter them. So they get in and yeah, they cause problems with your respiratory. And we don't know what else, you know, but it's genocide, as is the kidnapping and stealing of my family. And you know, it's been going on generation after generation after generation. I guess our heritage could be that we are the lost tribe of Israel. I don't know, because of the Cherokee in us. You know, I do ask myself, are they particularly, have they been, it seems to me that they've been particularly genociding my family for as many generations back as I can trace. And that goes to the Trail of Tears and before that too, in the Dakotas. And, well, yeah, why is that? Why did they? I don't know. You know, is there something about us in particular that bothers them? It seems to me that there must be. What is it? I don't know. And this goes out to all of you who maybe fall into that slice of a different type of being on the planet. Some of you know what I mean, probably, and some of you don't. I've been accused of talking in riddles or metaphors in trying to explain things to people, which was fruitless, pretty much. Well, I'm not going to say it was fruitless, but it was very stressful, at the very least, and of course they just looked to turn everything against me. So, if it is true that for some reason we possess something that they just can't let go, then I'm here to fulfill whatever that is. My goal is to free as many as I can, along with my own family. And I haven't quite figured out exactly how to do that, but I'm getting closer. And, you know, if the Creator, which I guess I am the Creator, I don't know. Anyway, I don't feel like I'm doing a good job of creating anything here. It's good. It's a lot of pain and suffering. If I'm responsible for that, then I really don't need to be here. So I do look to the Creator and ask, what are you doing? You know, why is this being allowed against your people? Aren't these your people? If they're not your people, whose people are they? Right? Well, my take on God and the creation and everything has changed drastically through this experience, so I hesitate to even turn to the Creator for answers right now. In the first place, that outside savior program, that was pretty good for a long time. Then I woke up and went, oh, there is no outside savior that's going to come along and save us. Yeah, that's what Stormy's been telling me. Yeah, and that was, I guess, pretty hard to wrap my head around. A lot of resistance inside on that, but I do get it. You know, I do get that we're responsible for our own. On the other hand, we have controllers. We've got a real evil entity that we're dealing with here, so the great deceiver. And so while there's extreme exposure coming out, the deceiver always has an agenda, and you always have to be looking for it. So, that said, peace, my brothers and sisters. I love you guys. Somehow, we're going to see this through. I don't know how. It's going to take a lot of love.